Today, we're diving into the foundations of mortgage loans, focusing specifically on the concept of the time value of money. This is a crucial principle in understanding how mortgage loans work, as it explains why money available now is worth more than the same amount in the future due to its potential earning capacity. Grasping this idea will help us better analyze loan terms and payments throughout this presentation. Let's talk about the time value of money, which is a fundamental concept in finance. Simply put, money you have today is worth more than the same amount you receive in the future. This is because you can invest the money now and earn interest on it over time. Additionally, money tends to lose purchasing power due to inflation, meaning that the same amount will buy you less in the future. Understanding this idea is crucial when dealing with mortgage loans, as it affects how we evaluate loan payments and the overall cost of borrowing. So, whenever you hear about mortgage loan foundations, remember that the time value of money plays a key role in deciding what makes a loan financially viable. Let's talk about the value of money over time. Imagine you have $1 today. This dollar can be invested, saved, or spent immediately. Because you have it now, it has immediate earning power and is more valuable to you today. Now, consider that same dollar, but received tomorrow instead. It arrives later, and during that time it may earn nothing or lose value, especially due to factors like inflation. Because of this delay, the dollar you get tomorrow is less valuable than the dollar you have today. This concept, the idea that money available now is worth more than the same amount in the future, is fundamental to understanding mortgage loan foundations and financial decisions in general. Let's talk about why money loses value over time. The first key factor is inflation. When inflation occurs, prices go up, meaning that the same dollar will buy you less in the future than it does today. This gradual increase in prices erodes the purchasing power of your money. Next, we have opportunity cost. This is the idea that money you hold on to today could be invested and potentially earn a return. By not investing, you're missing out on the chance to grow your wealth over time. Finally, there's risk. Future payments, whether from investments or loans, come with uncertainty. There's always some risk that the expected returns won't materialize, making cash in hand more valuable in the short term. Understanding these concepts is fundamental to grasping mortgage loan foundations and why it's important to manage money wisely. Interest rates serve as a crucial link between the value of money today and what it will be worth in the future. We start with the concept of present value, which reflects the buying power of a dollar you have right now. A dollar in hand allows you to make purchases immediately, which gives it inherent value. On the other hand, future value represents the worth of that same dollar at a later date, but this amount will only grow if the dollar earns a return over time. That return is what we call the interest rate. In this case, 6.5%. You can think of the interest rate as a conversion factor, translating today's money into its future equivalent. Understanding this relationship is fundamental when dealing with mortgage loans, as it helps us determine how loan payments and balances change over time. Here, we're looking at two fundamental types of interest: simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is straightforward. It's calculated only on the original principal amount. For example, if you invest $1,000 at a 5% interest rate for 3 years, you would earn $150 in interest. The formula for this is I equals P times or times T, where I is interest, P is principal, R is the rate, and T is time. On the other hand, compound interest is a bit different and often more powerful. It's calculated on both the original principal and the interest that has been previously earned. Using the same $1,000 example at 5% for 3 years, the amount grows to $1,157.63. The formula here is FV equals PV multiplied by 1 plus R raised to the power of n, meaning future value equals present value times 1 plus the rate to the number of periods. Understanding the difference between simple and compound interest is crucial, especially when dealing with mortgage loans, as compound interest can significantly affect the total amount you'll pay or earn over time. Here we see the true power of compounding in action. Starting with a small gain in the first year, just $50, it might not seem like much, but by year 5, that amount grows significantly to over $1,200. This happens because the interest earned in each period starts to generate its own interest, leading to a snowball effect. By year 10, the growth accelerates even more, reaching over $1,600. This clearly shows that growth doesn't simply add up, it multiplies. Understanding this concept is crucial, especially when dealing with mortgage loans and long-term investments, because the benefits of compounding can significantly impact your financial outcomes over time. Here, we're focusing on the fundamental formulas for present value and future value, which are essential concepts in finance. The present value formula is PV equals FV divided by 1 plus R raised to the power of N. This formula helps us determine what a future amount of money is worth in today's terms, considering a specific interest rate and time period. Conversely, the future value formula is FV equals PV times 1 plus R raised to the power of N. This allows us to calculate how much a current investment will grow to over time with compound interest. Understanding these formulas is crucial, especially when dealing with mortgage loans, as they form a foundation for calculating loan payments, interest, and overall financing strategies. Remember, PV stands for present value, FV for future value, R for the interest rate, and N for the number of periods. Mastering these concepts is key to effective financial planning and analysis. Let's break down how mortgages work by focusing on three key components: principal, interest, and term. First, the principal is the amount you actually borrow to buy your home. Each payment you make reduces this balance bit by bit. Next, interest is essentially the fee the lender charges for letting you use their money. This amount is calculated based on the remaining balance of your loan. So as your principal goes down, the interest you pay can change as well. Finally, the term is the length of time you have to repay your loan, usually either 15 or 30 years. This term has a big impact on your monthly payment amount and the total interest you'll ultimately pay over the life of the loan. When you put all together, your mortgage payment is a combination of principal and interest spread out over your chosen term. Understanding these basics is crucial for managing your mortgage effectively. When you make your monthly mortgage payment, it's actually split into two main parts. First, part of your payment goes toward paying down the loan balance itself, which is called the principal repayment. The other part covers the cost of borrowing the money, which is the interest payment. Early on in the life of the loan, a larger portion of your payment is applied toward interest, meaning you're mostly paying the cost of borrowing rather than reducing the loan amount. But as time goes on, this shifts and more of each payment starts going toward the principal. So your total monthly payment stays the same, but the way it's divided between interest and principal changes over time. This process of breaking down each payment into interest and principal is called amortization. Understanding this helps you see how your mortgage balance gradually decreases throughout the life of your loan. When you start paying off a mortgage, it might feel like you're making a lot of progress, but the reality is a bit different. In the early years, most of your payment actually goes toward paying interest, not the loan balance. For example, in the first year, about 85% of your payment could be interest, while only around 15% reduces the principal. So even though you're making consistent payments, the amount you owe doesn't drop quickly at first. This is an important thing to understand because it means the cost of borrowing is front-loaded and your equity builds more slowly in the beginning. When we talk about late payments on a mortgage, it's important to understand how payments are applied over time. Early in the loan, a larger portion of each payment goes toward interest, but as the loan progresses and the balance decreases, more of each payment goes toward the principal. For example, by year 25, about 20% of the payment might be interest and 80% is going toward principal. By year 30, this shifts dramatically, with only around 8% going to interest and a significant 92% paying down the principal. This shift means that later in the loan, your payments are building equity much faster, since more is applied directly to the principal balance. So, understanding how your payments are allocated can help you see the benefit of staying current and even making extra payments when possible. Now, let's compare fixed-rate mortgages and adjustable-rate mortgages. With a fixed-rate mortgage, your interest rate stays the same for the entire life of the loan. This means your monthly payments remain stable, which makes budgeting simpler and reduces the risk of sudden increases in your payment. Because of this certainty, fixed-rate mortgages often start with a higher interest rate compared to adjustable loans. On the other hand, adjustable-rate mortgages usually begin with a lower initial rate during an introductory period. This lower rate can make your monthly payments more affordable at first. However, after the introductory period ends, the rate can reset and your payments can increase or decrease depending on the market. This option can be more attractive if you plan to move or refinance before the rate adjusts. Understanding these differences is key to deciding which mortgage type fits your financial situation and goals best. Let's take a closer look at how interest rates affect your monthly mortgage payments. For a $300,000 loan at a 4% interest rate, your monthly payment would be about $1,432. Now, if that interest rate increases to 6%, the monthly payment rises to $1,799. That's an additional $367 every month, which adds up significantly over time. This example really shows how even a small change in interest rates can have a big impact on your monthly budget, even when the loan amount stays the same. Understanding this relationship is crucial when planning your mortgage and managing your finances effectively. Now, let's talk about the real cost of a 30-year mortgage. When you take out a loan for a home, like $300,000 in this example, you're not just paying back that principal amount. Over the 30 years, interest adds nearly 73% on top of the original loan. That means you'll end up paying about $218,000 in interest alone. So, the total amount paid over the life of the loan adds up to roughly $518,000. It's important to understand that this extra money is essentially the cost of borrowing. You're paying for the time you get to use the money, not just for the house itself. This is why knowing how mortgages work can really help you make informed decisions about your home financing. Let's take a closer look at how mortgage payments are structured over time. Early in the loan, typically during years 1 through 10, you'll notice that a significant portion of your payment, about $53,000, is going towards interest, while only around $141,000 is applied to principal. This means the ratio of principal to interest payments is roughly 1 to 2.7. So, in these early years, interest makes up the largest share of your payments. Fast forward to years 21 through 30, and the picture changes dramatically. Now, about $140,000 goes towards principal repayment, while only $30,000 is for interest. The ratio flips to approximately 4.7 to 1 in favor of principal. Despite the total payment amount remaining the same throughout the loan term, the mix between principal and interest shifts significantly. Understanding this payoff timeline is crucial because it highlights how your payments gradually build equity over time, with interest being front-loaded and principal increasing toward the end of your mortgage. Let's talk about how making extra payments can accelerate your mortgage payoff. When you add extra principal each month, it directly reduces your loan balance. Every extra dollar you pay immediately attacks the principal, which means you're owing less over time. This smaller balance then results in less interest accruing in the future, saving you money in the long run. This is what we call the payoff effect. Even small extra payments can shave years off your mortgage, helping you build equity faster and pay off your home sooner. It's a powerful strategy to consider as you manage your mortgage. Here we have a standard 30-year mortgage example with a $300,000 loan and an interest rate of 6.5%. The monthly payment for this loan is $1,896, and over the full 30 years, you'll end up paying a total of $682,632, which includes $382,632 in interest alone. Now, let's look at the impact of making an extra $200 payment each month. By doing this, your monthly payment rises to $2,096, but the payoff timeline shortens significantly to 23 years. You'll pay a total of $578,561 over the life of the loan, meaning you save about $104,000 in interest. Plus, you cut about 7 years off your mortgage term. This extra payment accelerates a reduction of your principal, which is a key to saving on interest and finishing your mortgage faster. It's a powerful strategy that not only saves you money, but also gives you financial freedom sooner than expected. Here we're looking at how the size of a down payment affects the time value of money when taking out a mortgage. Simply put, a larger down payment means you're borrowing less money initially. This lower loan amount results in smaller monthly payments and significantly reduces the total interest you'll pay over the life of the loan. For example, with a 20% down payment, you might borrow $320,000, pay around $1,918 per month, and end up with a total interest cost of about $370,000. On the other hand, a smaller down payment, like 5%, means a higher loan amount, say $380,000, with monthly payments close at $2,278 and total interest climbing up to $439,000. Over time, that extra interest really adds up due to compounding. So, the key takeaway is that putting more money down up front can save you a lot down the road, both in monthly expenses and overall cost. Refinancing means replacing your current mortgage with a new loan that reflects today's interest rates, terms, and your current financial goals. It can be a smart move if you want to lower your interest rate, reduce your monthly payment, or even shorten the time it takes to pay off your home. However, it really makes sense only when the interest savings you gain are greater than the closing costs involved. Another important factor is your timeline. Refinancing works best if you plan to stay in a home long enough to reach the break-even point, where the savings offset the upfront costs. Essentially, you're dealing with a new mortgage and new math, resetting the time value equation in your favor. Understanding these foundational concepts is key to making a smart refinancing decision. When we talk about the present value of your mortgage today, it's important to understand that we're looking at the value of all your remaining cash flows, not just the outstanding balance. Present value essentially asks, what are your future mortgage payments worth in today's dollars once we discount them at a relevant market rate? This concept is crucial when you're considering refinancing, assessing the value of your mortgage, or comparing different financial options. For example, if you have a $300,000 mortgage at year 15 of a 30-year term, its present value, after discounting the future payments, might be different from the actual remaining balance on the loan. This difference arises because the present value accounts for current market interest rates, which may be higher or lower than your original loan's contract rate. So, the key takeaway here is that the remaining loan balance does not always equal present value. This distinction can heavily influence decisions related to your mortgage and financial planning. Let's review the key takeaways about the time value of money and mortgages. First, interest compounds over time, which means the longer the loan, the more interest accumulates. Second, early payments primarily go toward paying off the interest, not the principal, so it takes time before you start reducing the actual debt. Third, even small changes in your payment schedule or interest rate can have a huge impact because of compounding. Finally, having a solid understanding of the time value of money helps you make smarter borrowing decisions, ultimately saving you money over the life of your mortgage. When making your mortgage decision, it's important to apply the math carefully. First, consider what interest rate you can secure. Your rate will have a big impact on your monthly payments and the amount you pay over the life of the loan. Next, think about whether you can afford to make extra payments beyond your regular mortgage. This can help you pay off your loan faster and save on interest. Finally, look at your payoff timeline, how quickly you want to or can realistically pay off your mortgage. These three factors together form the foundation for smart mortgage decisions, helping you balance affordability and long-term financial goals. Now that we've covered all the essential information, let's look at some valuable resources and next steps to help you move forward with your mortgage journey. First, mortgage calculator tools are great for quickly estimating your monthly payments and understanding how different variables affect your loan. Next, amortization schedule generators can provide a detailed breakdown of your payments over time, showing exactly how much goes toward interest and principal each month. Consulting with a financial advisor is highly recommended. They can offer personalized guidance tailored to your financial situation. Finally, refinancing comparison resources can help you evaluate options if you're considering refinancing your mortgage down the line. These tools and steps will empower you to make informed decisions and manage your mortgage effectively.